Hi everyone, this is Faith and Flour and I'm Robin. In today's video, I've got some home updates. We finished the pantry, so I'm organizing all of our food. There's a grocery haul and I'm making some changes as we settle into our new home. If you are in need of some homemaking inspiration and motivation for your week ahead, then this video is for you. Don't forget to like this video by giving me a thumbs up, share it with someone that you think would enjoy it, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. We would love to have you join us here at Faith and Flour. If you're new here, you may not know that we just recently moved to a smaller home and we're in the middle of some major renovations. Our kitchen is now functional and we are putting the finishing touches on everything. This is the little pantry area right next to the kitchen. And if you recall, this window was covered up by cabinetry when we bought this home. So we are letting the light in and making this area pretty. We have a cabinet area below this, and then directly across is the new pantry that we finally have completely installed and ready for me to load up. All of the trim around the windows in this home is very basic and plain, sort of builder grade. So we'd like to upgrade that a little bit, make them a little bit more substantial, more of a craftsman style. So Patrick is giving that a try here in this butler's pantry area. And if we like it, we would like to continue this throughout the home. We're also installing some shiplap on this wall, as you can see around the window. We'd like to do that in my office and possibly in the kitchen. So this small little area is kind of our trial run. This shiplap is tongue and groove that we bought from Lowe's. It's pretty straightforward as far as installation, and it says that it's painted, but I'd say it's more like primed. It's a little bit chalky feeling and it's not quite the right color white, so I'm going to be painting it to match the walls eventually. We loved the way this turned out. I love just walking past this area and imagining what all of the windows in our home would look like with this treatment. We think that the shiplap turned out great and we can't wait to continue that treatment in a couple other areas as well. Because this window was covered up, it had not even been primed, so I needed to prime the wood and then paint it white to match the rest of the moldings. Because only the bottom half of this window could be removed, I needed to paint this upper part while it was in place. So we put a towel in the window. There is a screen, but this will protect me from dripping anything on the countertop or on the windowsill, and will also reduce the airflow. So we picked a day that wasn't too hot outside to do this and not too humid, but just to minimize that, the towel worked pretty well. Little paint really makes all of the difference, and as soon as I get the shiplap done, this area will be complete. And our pantry was completed this past week as well, so I was finally able to move all of our food into it and get a little bit more organized. We chose to put a 15-inch deep pantry here. It fits the space perfectly, and I like the idea of a shallow pantry so that things don't get lost in the back. We've been using a storage closet to hold our pantry items while we're waiting for the pantry to be finished. And so amongst our clothes and other things, I have food lined up on shelves and in baskets on the floor. Things are loosely organized, but it's not ideal to have to walk all the way out of the kitchen and into the closet to find what I need when I'm cooking a meal. So I am more than excited to actually have the pantry ready for me to load up. I managed to get almost everything in there. There's a little bit of backstock that I'm going to leave in this closet. Eventually we're going to create a little more shelving in here for sort of longer term food storage, but I did empty all of these baskets, and I still have a couple of ideas for how to tweak things to fit in a few more items. My goal was to create different zones in our pantry and also to keep in mind how I would use things. For example, on the top shelf, we've got our cereal boxes. We are tall, so we don't have any trouble reaching those. There won't be anything stored in the back, so I won't need a ladder to access it. And all of the containers are fairly lightweight, so having them on a top shelf works great. On this sort of middle eye level shelf, I put heavier items so that they're easy to reach. And in the drawers, I tried to group things into like categories. For example, this drawer has all of the things that I would use for making pasta. I also wanted to create a special dedicated space for gluten-free baking items. Our son has celiac disease, and so we generally eat gluten-free and bake gluten-free. But occasionally I do like to do some baking for just Patrick and I with traditional wheat flour, so I just like to keep those things very clearly separated in our pantry. In another drawer, I organized the canned items that we use regularly. And so I will have backstock of these items in that other pantry that I showed you. Once we get that set up, I'll start to rebuild our prepper pantry. And I also have this one for sort of the condiment type items, mostly jarred items. I organized another drawer with baking items and also some taller condiment bottles like ketchup, barbecue sauce, and salad dressing. Just below that, I put all of the beverage related items. With a smaller pantry, I find that I can't perfectly group items, so you see that I have the condiments mixed in with the baking items and maple syrup mixed in with the beverages, but I needed to use the space that I had available, and I'm sure I'll continue to tweak things as we go along. In our previous home in our pantry, I had a basket that Peyton knew he could find all of his gluten-free snacks, so I made sure that he had a dedicated drawer in this pantry as well. The last drawer contains the rest of our snacks. Once I got everything organized in the pantry, I could easily see the areas that I needed to replenish, and so I ran over to ALDI's, and I've got a little grocery haul to share with you today too. I'll start with the cold items, and I've definitely found it to be true. What a lot of you have told me is that ALDI has amazing cheeses and their dairy products are good, also their meats. So I got a couple gallons of their organic whole milk. That is a pretty good price, and I will have the prices below if you're curious about that. And every time I go, I usually pick up one of these gluten-free General Tso's chicken. It's not the least expensive thing you can buy, but instead of going out to eat or something like that, it's a quick thing that I can throw together that is completely okay for Peyton because it's gluten-free. So I like to keep one of those in the freezer. And then for cheeses, I picked up 2 blocks of their mozzarella cheese, for lasagnas and pizzas and things like that. Also their sharp cheddar cheese. I've been trying to buy the block cheeses and shredding it myself. I think it's a little bit better. I also picked up a cream cheese and a Gruyere. Their imported cheeses are a really good price, much better than our local grocery store. I also got feta because I really like this on salads, and I love spinach salads, and I think this just makes it so yummy. And then we tried these last time. These are their uncured Bavarian bratwurst, and they were quite good. And we haven't tried these before, but I think they'll probably be good too. And these are the kind of thing also that I can keep on hand and throw together for a very quick and easy dinner. So those are the cold items. So here's the rest of my grocery haul, and I'm starting to develop some favorites that are regulars when I go. And one of them is this sourdough round for Patrick and I. I really like that it's just made with water, flour, and a sourdough starter. I think it's really very delicious and quite good for you. It doesn't have anything artificial in it, so love that. And then Peyton really likes their gluten-free white bread. And not only does it taste good, but it comes in more of a regular size. So many of the gluten-free breads that he really likes are really tiny. So I have to make, 2 sandwiches for him if he's going to use that bread. So this one's really great for a couple of reasons. And I can keep this frozen and then just pull out a little at a time. And it seems to work pretty well like that. The other thing that I have discovered is a great deal at Aldi's is their nuts. And I hadn't been stocking up a lot of nuts. And that was just because I wasn't able to do as much baking and things that I usually use them for. And we hadn't really been snacking on them that much, but I did stock up this time. So I got some of their roasted pistachios with sea salt in the shell. Those are great for snacking. I got sunflower kernels, and I use this mostly for our granola, as well as most of these nuts. The chopped walnuts, chopped pecans, and some shelled pistachios. And I love these on ice cream, so I kind of stash these away. We don't snack on these. We snack on the ones with the shell because that slows you down. But these are great for, ice cream toppings and things like that. I also found their organic cane sugar, which I thought was a good deal, so I got a couple of those. Another thing that was a great deal was this ghee. It sounds like a lot. I think it was close to $8, but this is a big container of ghee that would last a really long time, and it is grass-fed, which is hard to even find in our regular grocery store, and if I do, it's quite expensive. So I think this was a great find. I was out of oregano, so I thought I'd try their spices. I'm not sure of the quality of this, but I think it's okay, and it was like under $1, so I picked that up. And their bake shop, all of the pastries and cookies and things that they have are so tempting, and so I thought I would give Patrick and I a treat, and we would give these a try. So it's called the kitchen sink, and the sticker's covering everything, but it's got a lot of different things in it, different nuts and chocolate chips, something that is right up our alley. So thought we'd give that a try. So that is it for my little Aldi haul. I think my total was under $90. Like I said, I'll put the prices of everything underneath if you guys want to check it out. And as always, let me know down in the comments if there's something that you love from Aldi's that you think I ought to try. Okay, so sometimes it takes a little bit of trial and error to get things right, but I think we arrived, at least for the moment. I wanted to group all of the nuts together, and I'm storing them in these glass Le Parfait containers, which are great airtight containers. And now I think the pantry is set for the moment. I've got dried beans and some grains that we don't use often on the top shelf, so I will need a ladder for that. But I was able to move over the rest of the things that I wanted to into the pantry. Things like powdered sugar I could add to the baking section, and I think I had some rice over there that I was able to move as well. I'm sure I'll do some tweaking as I use it, but I'm just so glad to finally have a working pantry again. Over in Peyton's room, I have been rethinking our original plan for the furniture in his room. When he was born, we bought some good high quality furniture that matches the desk in his room. I had thought that it would be nice to sort of upgrade his room, or not really upgrade, but make it a little more adult-like. So he was using some pieces that were in Kyle's room, and this dresser is from Ikea. It's a great piece, and we'll probably use it in another area of the home. But after talking with Peyton and Patrick about it, we all decided that it would be a good idea just to move back in that original furniture. We got Peyton a headboard, and he's using a queen size bed that used to be Kyle's. And when I started pricing new furniture, I was really surprised how expensive everything's gotten. It's been a while since we bought furniture, especially furniture that was comparable to the quality of the furniture he already had. Plus, if I tried to sell it, I wouldn't recoup that value. So I was glad that everybody was in agreement with my idea. The other benefit to making this change is that those pieces will offer Peyton a little more storage in here. Not only is his room a little bit smaller, but his closet is significantly smaller, so this will give him a lot more options for organizing his things. My job is to empty all of the furniture so that the guys can make the swap, and then I'll reorganize everything. Once the furniture situation was taken care of, I promised Peyton that I would put up some of his favorite artwork that he had displayed in his previous room. By artwork, I mean posters. He loves things like Sonic and Pokemon, and he had a small collection of posters. So instead of having that sort of college dorm look, I convinced him to pick out a couple of his favorite, and then I purchased some inexpensive frames on Amazon. It was an instant upgrade, and it satisfied us both. I think it makes the room look a little bit more polished, and he still has all of the artwork that he loves the most in his room. My favorite way to hang art in drywall is using these drywall hooks. They are so great because they make a tiny little hole, so if you make a mistake and you need to relocate it, the hole is barely noticeable. You don't need a drill, and as you can see, I can do it in seconds. I don't remember the weight limit exactly. I think it's around 50 pounds, so you can put something quite heavy like a mirror on the wall with these. So if you want to hang something where there's no stud, I definitely recommend these. I've been using them for years. I will have them in my Amazon store. You can find them in the home section, and the link for that is down in the description box. Our home is still a work in progress, but we feel like we are getting closer and closer with each little project that we complete. I still have a few ideas for Peyton's room, but I think we're getting closer, and I'm really glad that we didn't go through with selling this furniture. I've been so busy with all of our projects that I just hadn't gotten around to it, and I think that was for the best. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. I hope that it gave you a little bit of homemaking inspiration for your week ahead. I so appreciate you spending your time with me here today. You know I love hearing from you, so make sure to leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a wonderful week.